board meeting to order, and in case I forget this, happy Thanksgiving. Probably forget it at the end, so you got thanks. Right? Anyway, thanks for coming. Appreciate that. So the board is here except Michelle Giovinazzi, who has an excused absence. We're going to start with the Design 2 showcase.
Yes, Bill Link is here to do introductions. This is part of our strategic initiative connected to the School Climate Transformation Grant, focused specifically on PBIS, positive behavior intervention supports, and restorative practices. So Bill, turning it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Webb. Members of the school board, thank you for having us here. Community. Got a couple of props that we would like for you guys to be considering as we talk. So we do want to recognize our school board and the superintendent for this effort that we started around 2009, working on positive behavior supports. The catalyst or the origins of this energy was really around bullying prevention and what we were going to do about bullying in our schools and in our community. And the focus really was about creating environments in our schools where bullying would be less likely to occur rather than take bullying directly on. And so our approach is an evidence-based practice referred to as positive behavior supports. In light of some events in our nation and in our community, we are committed to acknowledging that this work is probably more important now than ever before. So having said that, we started some of this work. Nancy Moore is lead of our transportation department. Nancy, where's Nancy at? So she's sitting there. She didn't know I was just going to do that here. But she reached out to me specifically and asked about bullying on school buses and what ideas do we have around that. And so every year since then, I recruited a team to help, and they've worked with the crew, the bus drivers during crew meetings every year for the last several years. So Sandra and Ryan, Lee Gunter, are going to be talking to you guys about their work with the bus drivers.
Hi. So our work with the bus drivers, as you can see, we had a couple of lenses we were looking through and also methods that we followed through the course of our work. Specifically, one of the biggest decisions we made early on was treating the transportation department as a separate school. We had discussions about should we try to match what the schools were doing and try to align with them, or should we treat the department as its own entity? And that guided our work throughout the process. Another important theme that kept coming up through our discussions with the drivers was just really that connection with the buildings and how important it was for them to feel like there was a strong connection and they were being supported by the schools. So as Bill mentioned, we used a PBIS framework to guide our work, and then also did all of our work with the drivers through the crew meetings, which are meetings with all of the drivers 4 times a year. And then also we formed a leadership group, and we call that the Transportation Strategy Team, the TST. And that was a group of leader drivers that we met with more frequently and really did a lot of the work with that smaller group, and then share that out with all of the drivers. So the steps of implementation, we really followed the same process that a school would follow when they're implementing PBIS, and these are the steps here on the slide. We've established that initial group of leader drivers, and then worked through these steps of establishing what the expectations were on the bus, posting those and sharing those with everyone, teaching those expectations to all of the students, and then developing ways to recognize students who are meeting the expectations, and then also ways that we were going to correct unexpected behaviors, looking at data systems and collecting information for how we would know whether or not the systems are working, and then finally just kind of continuing to refine the process. Throughout that entire process, training was heavily involved. So we have a timeline here to show you, and the arrows really do indicate that the work carried through. So we started in 2011 and 12 attending crew meetings, and that really has continued all throughout the process. So again, those are coaches meeting with all of the drivers, doing various trainings with the large group. And that started in 2011, 2012, as Bill mentioned. And then in 2013, or 2012 and 13, we formed that group and then started the work around establishing what are the core beliefs of the drivers, what is really important to them that students demonstrate on the buses, And we pulled all of the drivers and came up with four core beliefs, which were to be safe, respectful, responsible, and cooperative. And the drivers had a lot of say in that. It took a long time to come up with those. But those were their four core principles that they wanted all of the students to demonstrate while on the buses. And so then the work began in determining what do those core beliefs and behaviors look like on the bus, at the bus stop, when they're getting on the bus, when they're exiting the bus. And we created something called a matrix, which is very common in schools when they're developing PBIS. But that really does define what does it look like to be safe at the bus stop? What does it look like when you're being cooperative on the bus ride? So being really explicit and identifying what types of things students who are expected on the bus. So after we were able to develop the matrix, the next step, how are we going to teach the expected behaviors to the students? So a lot of work went into developing lesson plans, and that took a while because we had to develop lesson plans that, the transportation department was a unique group to work with because there's some challenges in their roles and when they're available and how we could teach these expectations to the students. So it's taken a while to kind of fine tune things, and there's a couple of different models that have been implemented. But now all of the students are getting taught the same expectations from that same lesson plan that we developed. So everyone is getting the same message consistently over time. So then in 2013 and 14, we also at the very end of that year did something called the school evaluation tool, which evaluates implementation of PBIS. And so we took that after our first kind of year-long worth of work, and I'll show the results of that along with the following year's results in just a second. So we were measuring our implementation as we went. In 2014 and 15, the focus then shifted to really kind of removing ourselves as coaches, as the leaders of the process, and really trying to build up that leadership team of drivers and taking the lead in facilitating meetings and driving the work. And so we tried to kind of take a step back. We also focused on the recognition systems and how we were going to recognize students for meeting expectations, and we came up with something called bus bucks, and they're handed out by the drivers whenever they catch students meeting expectations, and every school handles the bus bucks a little differently. At my school, we have a bucket that sits on the front counter, and students write their names on it and they drop it in the bucket, and then we have drawings every week to recognize those students. Their names get read on the announcements. So really trying to reinforce the positive and focusing on that when the kids are meeting our expectations. In 2014-15, that was kind of our official launch in January when we started our work. It's been like that, the slide initially showed, is kind of a continuously trying to improve the process and refining systems as we move along. And then we did do the set, which is the second set in 2015. Really what it showed was, it's not showing up on there, but the difference from the first year we did it to the second year, it measures a number of different areas, but it gives you an overall score. And the implementation score, the goal is 80%. The first year it was 42%. The second year was 71%. So we were really making a lot of progress toward meeting those guidelines for what is considered full implementation. I'm going to let Sandra take over.
So in 2015-2016 school year, Kate Anderson, who's not here this night, and I were asked to come present to the bus drivers on PBIS, and we were told that they've tried it, it's not really working, there was some negativity towards it, and knowing that the negativity could be toxic to their culture and climate, and really trying to work towards sustainability, that we needed to focus on what the drivers actually needed and what they wanted. So we sent out a school bus driver perception perception survey, and the data said that really what they wanted was tools and tips to use for passing out the bus bucks, positive praise, and then the lessons for entering and exiting the bus. And several bus drivers didn't even know if their schools actually implemented PBIS. So Kate and I took that information and we presented to the bus drivers, and we actually used it instead of presenting a training. We opened it more as a discussion, and we allowed the bus drivers to share what was working along with that, so that they had time to listen to each other and learn from each other to use those things on their own bus. And then this year, oh, and actually, there we go. So we started every training with this data for that week because we wanted them to celebrate what was working. So you'll notice that in 2011-12, which is when we started outlining PBIS, we had close 1,200 referrals. And so that may not seem like a lot when we divide that by the 128 bus drivers there are, by the 9 months of school. That's about 11 referrals a year per bus driver. And if we think about that primarily being with safety concerns, that's a lot of referrals for safety concerns on a moving classroom. So then when we actually launched PBIS, you'll see a significant drop with our data, and that went from approximately 11 referrals per bus driver to about 5 or 6 per bus driver. So we've cut it in half, and so we really wanted to celebrate that with the bus drivers because they felt like what they were doing wasn't working until they saw this data and they said, wow, it really is working, and it kind of gave them a chance to be heard, supported, and for them to say, wow, let's keep this moving forward. So then this year, that was really a maintenance year. This year we were working on more sustainability, and the team leads, or the TST, is really involved, and Nancy Moore is actually I'm going to get this right, state instructor on the lesson planning committee for in-service for school bus drivers in the state of Washington. And at the beginning of the school year, she presented a lesson for the drivers to be certified, and they actually called it flipping the switch because they are trying to get their management style, change it from what it used to be to this more PBIS approach. But she wasn't able to use the term PBIS, but she really wanted to shift their lens and their thinking. They also have sent most middle schools and most elementary schools and all middle schools, which all is a big deal because this hasn't happened for middle schools in the past. In the fall, they have a behavior expectation fair, and the buses went to their schools and their route, and they actually presented the lesson plans that Lee was speaking of, and with the kids, and they did a rotation at the actual schools where they drive for those students. Then you'll see a video in just a few minutes of one of the bus drivers, John. He's an in-house mentor for the transportation team, and he's really working with training new bus drivers and supporting and mentoring the current bus drivers with this work moving forward. And as for us, really our role right now is just consulting, so as they need more support, then they call us, and we show up to help support in ways that we can.
It's a simple concept. It basically lays out a simple verbiage of being safe, respectful, responsible, and cooperative, and is letting the students know that it goes both ways. Students and adults have to respect that.
So we teach them and work with them at the beginning of the school year and throughout the whole year, and show them what it means to be safe on the bus, what it means to be cooperative on the bus, what it means to be respectful. And they're learning those words at school. So when we say them, we know that they've already been learning them, and the older they are, the more they've heard them.
Teachers, coaches, janitors, everyone use the same verbiage, and they hear over and over and over with the same tone.
I have children myself, and when you go to school, you need to listen to the teacher. If all three triangle work together, I tell you, the children will successful, and our job make our job easy too.
And just remember, when you're at the bus stop, you're in the bus ride, and on the bus at school, please be safe, respectful, responsible, and cooperative. Thank you, you guys are awesome, and have a wonderful day.
We can teach them how to be safe on the bus and use positive ways to do it instead of negative ways. Positive way to frame something would be, Johnny, please stay in your seat. That helps me to be able to see out the back window, and we can stay safe. Instead of saying, Johnny, move over, you're in my way. It's a better atmosphere on the bus. I'm being respectfully and asking him respectfully.
It's not adult versus students anymore. It's we're all on the same team, and we all have one important commodity: is students, to make them safe and educate them in a positive way.
I love what I do. My job is most important to me. Working with these children, it builds me up too as an adult. It builds me up.
Thanks for giving us this opportunity.
Any board comments? Questions?
Well, I thank you for showing students that when they're on the school bus, they're still in school. I love that idea of the rolling classroom and everybody using the same language, always on the same page. So we can't get it wrong that way. That's awesome. Thank you very much for keeping our kids so safe.
And thanks for reaching out to the level of bus, not just the school, and bringing them to school with the right attitude, disposition. So that's powerful for the staff, the teachers, and everyone, so we can get on with the education business. So, great work. All right, thank you very much.
I just want to thank Bill and Lee and Sandra for their leadership on scaling this work beyond the classroom and schools. Thank you so much. But I also want to ask Nancy Moore and Carol Pemberton to stand. These are our leads in transportation, and they're really doing terrific work in getting our students to school safe and ready to learn. So thank you so much.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. Our next is recognition of the Employees Excellence Awards for this month. And Kathy Everidge, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, and Marshall McCord will do the honors.
Yes. It is my privilege to present the November 2016 Employee Excellence Awards to 40 serving staff members. This award recognizes individual employees for creating a positive, caring, and productive school environment through exceptional effort, dedication, and performance in the areas of responsibility. Employees are nominated by colleagues, supervisors, parents, community members, and students. The nomination forms can be found on the school district website. A panel made up of representatives from throughout the district reviews all nominations and select those to receive the recognition. Tonight's Excellence Award recipients are Shauna Ferguson, Jennifer McKay, Travis Poe, and Nicole Stricker. If the award recipients could please join me up here at this time, I'd appreciate that. First recipient is Shauna Ferguson. Shauna, I'm going to step forward a little bit. Shauna Ferguson is a teacher librarian at Clem River High School. She was hired in August 2005. Generosity with her time and geniality of spirit are just two of the many things that have endeared Shauna to her students, their families, and her colleagues. She seems to know every student in the school and has created an appealing, positive atmosphere in the media center, serving as a go-to person for help with technology, research, curriculum support, and reading suggestions. Her influence extends beyond the center too. Shauna also coaches a mock trial team and is part of the school-based leadership team. Said her coworker, Shauna is a great friend and someone who always makes River a better place. Congratulations, Shauna. Next is Jennifer McKay. Jennifer McKay is a teacher intervention specialist at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, and she was hired in August of 2007. Jennifer has been a major force in transforming Jefferson's response to intervention model from a vision into a reality. She tracks, monitors, teaches, and advocates for students with challenging needs. The programs she leads help them improve their literacy skills, provide organizational strategies, and motivation and support students outside of class time. Because of her ability to build strong relationships and understand individual student needs, she has had a great impact on student success. At Thomas Jefferson, we have had significant gains in closing achievement gaps for our students, wrote her nominator. The programs Jen is running are the major reason why. Congratulations. Next is Travis Bowe, principal of McLaughlin Middle School, hired in July 2009. Said his nominator, have you ever seen Michael Jordan play basketball? Ken Griffey Jr. play baseball? What all of these people have in common is the fact that not only are they great at their professions, but they make everyone around them better. To see the positive energy, dedication, and work that Travis brings every day makes me want to raise my level of work. The environment that he has created here at MAC for both students and staff is phenomenal. Travis gets involved with all aspects of the school. He has a genuine interest in everyone's success, and it shows. Congratulations, Travis. And finally, Nicole Stricker, bus driver, Transportation Department, hired in March 2015. Nicole's commitment to her job is evident to everyone she encounters. Said a parent who nominated her after a field trip. As a teacher for Evergreen Public Schools, and having been on many field trips as a parent, I was very impressed. Nicole let the teachers pick out a kid-friendly CD to play while driving. While the students were waiting to go inside the museum, she had a book on CD playing and read aloud with them. I've never experienced such a friendly and engaging driver. She was amazing, and you can tell she loves her job. Congratulations.
Well, it's an honor to represent the board tonight and congratulate you all on this special recognition. You'll see in our symbol up above there that we have a commitment to deliver excellence in education, but we cannot meet that deliverable without excellent employees, and tonight you represent the best of the best. We have more than 3,000 employees in our district, and while not all of them are teachers, everyone is an educator. Every interaction you have with a student is an opportunity to make a positive impact on his or her life. That's a huge responsibility, and we thank you for accepting that as part of your profession. In this week of Thanksgiving, we're thankful for your service to our students. Congratulations and enjoy the holidays.
No written correspondence the board has not seen already.
All right. So before I get into the public testimony, we got some put on my share. We won't be responding directly to. So, first, Maria. So,
My name is Maria Damaris Silva, and I'm a parent at Peters Ogden Elementary School. My daughter Maya, she's 9, and she's in 3rd grade. My son is Meshi with Miss Fisher, 1st grade, and I will be crying because this is very emotional to me. And I passed to Mr. Webb a letter in Spanish. There's only my signature. There is other parents who are choosing to protect their identity. The reason why we come here is a follow-up on the meeting last week at one of you guys attended, a couple of you guys attended the meeting. It was regarding the PTSD. I don't know if you know what PTSD means, but it's the post-Trump election stress disorder. And we wanted to gather as community to find out what can we do to protect our children in our community. I was there and I was very blessed and surprised. I have to admit it, to find a very loving Vancouver community. The majority was English speakers, and I was just surprised. It was very, very touching, very loving. And we talked with several leaders in the community about following up. There is a meeting scheduled for November 30th, which for some of us that are people of color is a long wait, because our children are concerned and they're crying. I personally cannot describe Some of the tears or comments are at school for a couple of reasons, because the principal of my school is here. No, I'm just kidding. Miss April Whipple is here, and she's an amazing leader. But it's for confidentiality reasons, and I'm sure you will understand that. But I can talk to you as a resident of this city of Vancouver. In the letter I just presented, I have several copies there in Spanish. That's how I drafted it in my own time. But all I can tell you is that once, if there is, so let me focus first in what I'm expecting from the board. The reason why I live here and I moved to Vancouver is because I admire a lot not only the advocacy but the education and the leadership that Vancouver School District has taken in this city. I've also been working for the Vancouver School District as a teacher assistant since 2007. My whole life with my children as a mother has been here in Vancouver, and I love it, and I will not change it for anything. I have 530 children of my own at Peter S. Ogden that I care and I love in everyday situation. And just to finish, what we're asking is for the district to amplify their diversity mission, not only to protect the identity of our children of communities of colors and immigrant communities in the school, but also beyond in our communities. What can we do? I will follow your lead to work with the community so our communities won't be divided and destroyed. We don't want kids to be absent, and we don't want kids to be and to live in fear. Every day that it goes by, there is a children that hears their parents saying, we're gonna be deported, and that's a very traumatic thing. In this time of Thanksgiving, I really wish everyone to please think about this Thanksgiving of what it means to honor our history of celebrating not only Native Americans, but people that has a lot of roots and that have been here in this community, lovingly participating. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Ogden Long. She's not.
She's just not gonna speak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You spoke for her, probably.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. All right. Travis London?
My name is Travis Linden, and I am a teacher at both Anderson and Harney. And I'm here tonight because I wanted to encourage the district to make a more official statement with regards to some of the recent, post-election. Portland Public Schools recently has come out with a resolution regarding some of the what they're planning to do with should immigration laws change. And so again, I'm just here tonight to try to encourage the district to formulate another more powerful statement with regards to that. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Travis. Cecilia Towner?
Hi, I'm Cecilia Towner, and I live here in Vancouver, Washington, in the district, and I am the founder of Black Lives Matters. And I'm here because I've been hearing horrible stories about, since the election, bullying and harassment of children, not just black children, but also gender non-conforming children, and others that are just a little bit more sensitive, but also Hispanic families as well. And I'm here because I really like to see if the board would consider doing a proclamation that really kind of reaffirms its stance on having a safe and supportive climate at schools. Some of the, and I emailed you guys because I was running late and I couldn't print everything, but the city of Ridgefield issued a proclamation, and I think Clark County Board just did, and Vancouver City Council issued a proclamation. And the reason I think it's important is because it's something that we can do to show solidarity through all the sectors. I'm also here to ask you guys to call a community-wide, and hopefully all the other school districts will participate as well, but a community-wide conversation. We're in a place politically that we've never been before, and it's time for us to come together. It's time for us to recommit to excellence in our relationships with each other, and to really call the community together as a community, which you guys know that I've wanted that, since I started Black Lives Matters. And there's other things like Portland Public Schools has put in place hurdles to protect its immigrant families, and which I've also sent you that. And PSU has declared itself a sanctuary university. And I think that these are really tangible things that can make people feel more safe, families feel more safe in Vancouver at this time. And I'd like to take the remainder of my time and give it to Laura, if that's possible. But that's what I have to say, and if you check your email boxes, then there's some literature. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Celia, Laura Vanderlyn, is that the follow-up?
Yeah.
All right, you're on next.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I just want to, sorry, I need to grab my glasses really quick.
Oh, Laura, your name and address, please.
Oh, Laura Vanderlyn, and I live in North Portland. I just want to share some of the posts that I've been reading that's happening nationwide, and these are things that are happening to children in school, all the way from, say, like New York, all the way to Seattle, here in the West Coast. Muslim students in my class was told to go back to her country. Teachers keep fighting to uphold diversity and empathy. Our students need us. Azusa Pacific and Angelico University is now having to address Latino students being harassed and told to go back to Mexico. Teacher friend protecting high school students from taunts called Mexican piece of SHIT and told to go back home. She was born here. Today, one of my teachers told our class that the people are telling Mexican students to pack their bags and go back to Mexico. St. Paul teacher on leave after students say he told them blacks should go back to Africa. A student's hijab was ripped off of her head while on campus. Another student was told to go back to her country. Just learned that some hijabi and Asian students at my uni have been told to go back to their country by other students. Muslims having hijabs yanked off blacks threatened and told to go back to Africa. Hispanic students listening to peers' chants, build the wall. She told me students were saying that they did not know if they were going to have to go back because parents do not have papers. A Texas Tech history professor told their students that we are going back into slavery. One of my students came up to me and told me that they don't want to go back to Mexico. That shouldn't be the worry of a child. There is a need to keep families and children safe and secure. And I don't know how you're communicating with parents, but I know that when my kids were young, we could do what we call like an independent contract, that where we could keep our kids home and they can do work from home. And I think it's important to let parents know what options and resources are available in their school and make that available to them immediately. Because parents, students, and not only parents and students, but teachers are suffering from PTSD. How do teachers deal with this type of mental health issue? It's a mental health issue, it's a mental health crisis. And we, parents that are in a situation like this, probably have a very hard time also trusting the medical department, the medical field, all institutions, all government institutions can be questionable to people that are very oppressed. So I just urge you to please make available whatever resources you have to parents and let them know what their rights are, that they can keep their kids at home if they don't feel safe. Thank you very much for your time.
Sure. Thank you, Laura. Thanks for your comments, concerns. We will move on to the consent agenda. I believe there's an item of concern and consent. 7C. All right, 7C is full. We'll vote on it afterwards. Any other concerns about consent? Can I get a motion for consent minus 7C?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 7C it is. You want to talk about 7C?
Yeah, 7C, the item is approving the final installation of the new theater seats at Vancouver School of Arts and Academics. I just wanted to take an opportunity, again, this week of Thanksgiving, to thank Leslie Durst for her very generous contribution to the foundation that allowed us to change these seats. We're approving this project tonight over $240,000. So I know Leslie isn't here, and I know we thanked her before, but I think it's important to recognize her very generous business. So,
Okay, good.
and I will move for approval.
Move, okay. Second. Discussion?
I sat in the seats to watch Pirates of Penzance.
There you go.
I mean, it's a good and a bad, so they are very firm and new, but not as soft and cushy as collapsible as they used to be. It's a very positive change, so we
Okay.
thank Mr.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Dr. Webb, regular business.
First item of regular business is a recommendation to approve purchase agreement number 2016031, flexible learning iPads, in support of the district's Design 2 strategic priorities to expand one-to-one student computing model, providing anytime, anywhere access to online content and digital tools. The district is recommending purchase of 750 Apple iPads. iPads purchased under this agreement will support a variety of programs, including the Vancouver Home Connect, elementary coding pilots, middle school instructional staff as a continuation of the technology levy-funded phased one-to-one technology deployment. The fund source is a general fund. It's a recommendation that the Board of Directors approve the purchase of 750 Apple iPads in the amount of $265,500 plus applicable Washington State sales tax to meet the one-to-one computing needs for the district staff and students.
We have a recommendation. Can I get a motion? So moved. Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Dr. Webb, superintendent's report.
No superintendent's report?
I'll entertain a...
We did have some minutes that might have skipped over. Are they still on the agenda?
Kidding. Oh, we did.
Yes, that's
I'm trying to get us out of here for Thanksgiving. Sorry. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of September 27th, regular meeting?
So moved.
Okay. Second somewhere? I guess that's, we'll count one of those as a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Did I miss anything else?
Not that I know of.
All right. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
I need that.
Second. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.